Hi, I'm Draken and this is the DrakenWerks, and we come back to the NetherHub project here. So you may remember we showed this on the last episode, and I was sort of saying about how quite a few people have been in down here. They've dug a bit out. Now, we've donated quite a few materials in the past. We donated a few shulkers of concrete and a few bits of warp blocks and everything else, and we had done some digging, but I felt there's a lot more digging that we could do and contribute down here. So I've basically taken one of the wings under my wing, so to speak, and decided that I'm going to try and dig all of this wing out. So in this last week we've been up here just digging away, cutting it all back and everything as well. And this hub project that's been designed is going to be massive. It is absolutely huge, the designs and everything else like that. You see the amount of space that we've already dug out, and there's so much more to be dug as well at the moment. It's going to take us a few weeks before I think we'll actually get around to actually getting everything dug up, and then we've actually got to build the thing, and then we've got to connect everything up to it. So it's going to be quite a while. So this is a real big project, and this is coming from someone who does a lot of big projects. But I got into a bit of a stride while doing this. I found myself that I was able to just dig away chunks at a time. Now you get all these zombie pigmen that keep cropping up and everything else, and I've worked out a way to minimise that as well. And what I was doing was just digging out small chunks at a time, and then just digging out the floor as well. It enables me to grow up a little bit further. The big annoying thing was that you see there every now and then is the lava comes out. Obviously, as you may be aware, since 1.16, lava moves a lot quicker in the Nether, so you have to have a lot faster reactions as soon as you see that lava crop up. But what you tend to find is that as I'm digging it, because it's quite dark down here and it's not very well lit, when you hit a block and it's got lava behind it, you suddenly get a lot of light, so it gives you a good warning in that sort of sense there. But yeah, I mean, we decided to get down here, and this is where we're up to. So if you remember the last episode, we had only sort of dug a couple of layers up above where the original planning stage had been at. We're now taking it all the way up to wire level 100. Now that's not finished yet. We've still got to go up to wire level 120, so we've still got another 20 blocks to go, and I've already started making a move on there. But everything here, other than when the initial bit on this wing was dug out, everything here was dug by me otherwise. So I think it was Lady Bex planned it all out, so she dug out the initial bit at the beginning just to work out where the spacing was, and then I carried on from there. But that's not the only big thing that we've been working on, because obviously if you remember last episode, we had also been working on our air harbour tower that's on the side of the main base, and so there were still things to be done on this, you know. So we built the gold harbour in the bottom part of it. There's floors to be built into there, and even in this episode I didn't actually manage to finish it all because still got to put the lifts in. I still got to put some more decorations in there, and there's a ledge here. I think you can actually see it in this clip here. Actually, there's a little ledge there as well, which seems to get mobs spawning on every now and then, so I'm going to have to block that up as well. But we did get all the floors in place, so the floors are there, and we've lit most of them up and put some lampposts around, and then we came to this bit, which is building the roof to it as well, which, good job we're working on the Nether Hub project, because it gives us loads of netherrack that we could then make into nether brick for this bit. And I think this might be the largest dome I've built yet. I'm not quite sure because I can't remember quite the size and dimensions of the one that I built in the cathedral on my last server, but this one is 51 blocks wide, so it's pretty big, you know, and it's pretty huge. And I built it double over, so I actually built a dome on the inside as well. As you can see, I built like a wooden structure inside as well as building the dome at the top. But there is one thing that I did muck up on this, and that is that I fell for an old myth that exists quite a lot out on the internet, and that is that string stops spawning. Now, if you've ever heard this myth or ever thought that that is the case, I can tell you categorically it isn't. String doesn't stop mob spawning at all. I had fallen for it at this point though, because I was actually putting string down at every bit. It does stop snow. So the snow that I'm getting in this region here, you'll see some of these towers have got snow across the top after I build them. So the string stops the snow from building up, but it doesn't stop the mobs. So the mobs continue to spawn, and actually I found that out to my detriment in a minute, which you'll see in a second, is because I completed it all off and then came back to find a bunch of creepers up on the top of my roof. And it's like, ah! So I went and looked it up, and I found a Mythbuster episode by Zizuma from the Hermitcraft, and he was proving that, yeah, string doesn't stop mob spawning at all. So I've got another solution what I'll do in the future, but I haven't done it yet. But what I'll do is I'll put a half slab on top of everything here. It won't look too different to what it does at the moment. It'll just be half a block higher, but that should stop all the spawning down there. But we also did some more stuff on here as well. So not only did we do some more work on the tower and put the roof on and all the floors into place, I also came in and I decided I'd build the ships as well that are attached onto the side here. So as you remember, this is an air harbour. It's designed for airships to come up and dock to the side here. So I went away onto my creative server and I built some templates of airships. And this is one of the designs that I came up here. Now this one I am calling an Ira class. Ira is the name of our puppy that we got a few months ago. Absolutely beautiful border collie. But it's an Ira class ship, and because it's the first one I built, it is actually called the IDAV Ira. Small little ship, designed not to be as big as, like, if you remember going back quite a few episodes now, that I built the IDAV community over in the spawn town, which is the great big airship that I had with the double balloons on the top and the big landing bay at the back and multiple decks and everything else. Now this is a much smaller thing. This is designed so that I can build these quite quickly and quite easily, so that if I need quite a few of them, I can build them without having to spend ages on it. Not that I don't mind building bigger ships as well. Bigger ships are quite nice to build as well, but you don't want to building them all the time, and sometimes you just want to build a few ships. And yeah, a few ships is going to be sort of the name of this episode, as you guys will see in a minute. You see, I think we better start keeping count of actually how many ships I have built in this last week. So this is the first one. This is the IDAV Ira. But there's going to be some more as well as we go through this. So I built a second ship at the air harbour here, as you can see here. Now, the last one was like it had like an underneath deck and an upper deck. This one's more of just a single deck, so this is an even smaller airship than the last one, just to give us an idea of something like, like little boats and everything else, little fishing boats, one-man fishing boats you get out there and everything else. A bit like that, except for it's for carrying cargo. But it's basically a little one-man airship craft that we got there. Much smaller by design and everything else like that, but again means that we can build these quite quickly and deploy them quite quickly across the server, as may need to be done from time to time. But this would be the second airship. I decided to call this the Lightwing class. So again, this is the first one of its class, so it's the IDAV Lightwing. And I think next week we might build some bigger airships, because I enjoy smaller ones, but I think we need some bigger ones again as well. Not quite the size of the community yet, though I do want to build a beast of a ship at some point. The IDAV community is not going to be my biggest yet, but yeah, this is my second airship that I built there as well. But once we got all the rigging up on there, and having built two airships now, and realizing how easy the Ira class is, I thought, well, here's an idea. We could actually build these airships all around the server, we could just take random spots and just put them there. Obviously I try not to put them too close to people's builds or anything else like that, but maybe like out in the middle of the wilderness, someone will be walking through and suddenly look up and there's one of our airships floating overhead. And so that's what I did here. So this is actually not far off the path to spawn, actually. So spawn's not far away from here. You can see the path just down below, but I decided to build myself another ship out in the middle of the wilderness there. This one I've called the IDAV Willow. It is an Ira class, so it is of the exact same build and design as that other one, but Willow being actually our cat, so named it after the cat. So this is our third airship that we have built in this episode. Bear in mind that this is in the space of a week. But before we come back, have a quick look at the work we have done in the air harbour here. So we've got, this is like the upper floor where we connect to the top level of airships, and you can see there we've got like a lift that goes through the floors, and then we come through here past all the lights, and then we can see the Lightwing class that is just docked off the side. As I said, this is designed just to be a single deck, nice and easy, solo little craft. Quite easy to use there. And you can see the deck is just filled up with a few different pieces of cargo. We got some barrels there, we've got some hay bales and everything else as well. And I'm still trying to find more stuff that I can use as cargo. So I got a few things. I use like melons and pumpkins and barrels and hay bales and kelp blocks when I've got them. Though I'm still developing those up from the new kelp farm we got last time. But if we come down, we go to this bottom floor as well. You can see the bottom side of the lift here as well. So I put some cargo on the lift here as well. But yeah, this is the sort of the floor that's just above the gold farm level, and there are some lifts off to the side there. I'm in the middle of constructing. I haven't finished them yet, but they will connect up to all of the floors. But then we can come over here onto the Ira class. You can see the difference in the design here. We've got a bunch of cannons at the front there, just in case there's any airship pirates around that might want to try and take out our ship. And then we've got the wheel here, and then we've got at the back of the ship there's a little cabin as well. We've got a cargo deck there that will come through, but you've got like the captain's cabin here, and the stairs that will take you downstairs into the hold of the ship, where we're storing again more of the cargo and everything else. And I love the little design of this ship. I think it's just like a nice little cute little airship design that sits quite nicely in our fleet there. Yeah, talking about all this and building these, it gave me some more ideas on how to build more of them on the server. That's right, 6 ships. We have built 6 ships in this last week. Can't believe it. But as we come down here, I'm going to quickly show you around the new shop we have in the shopping district. And I've got to be careful down here because there's a couple of other guys who have built shops in the nearby vicinity to this one. So I'm going to try and not show them on stream here. But we'll try and show off our display here. So the idea is I've built a fleet yard. The whole concept is simple. There's 2 things we can do with it. One is set up trade routes, and the other is to turn around and sell ships. So the trade routes design is so that other people on the server can build like harbours and stuff like that, and they can then get built for free one of our ships at their builds if they want. They don't have to, obviously, but if they want to. And then what we can do is anything that we sell that they want in bulk, we can also drop it off with our ships as well at the same time, you see. But it enables them to also get one of our ship builds around, and it enables me to get my ships all over the server a bit more as well, into a few places. And then the other idea is that instead of that as well, is if people want to have their own fleet of ships, then we can come and build the ships for them for a price, of course, which will cover then the price will cover materials and will also cover our labor, but we'll come and build it, and we'll work with them as well so that we can build the ships to their sort of color schemes and everything else. But we'll base them off their designs. So we'll have some generic designs like the Ira class airship, and also we've seen out there the Cubic class sailing ship, which is a brand new sailing ship that I also built, which is docked up to the side here. So this is where they would actually come and sign up to it here. This is something I love in here as well. You can see in here we've got 2 elevators. We've got an elevator here and sort of a drop shaft here. And this is one of my, I don't know if you've ever seen my tutorial, I've got it on my channel. It's a tutorial for water elevators. And this is a water elevator that you can step into from 2 sides. It's an absolutely awesome way of doing it. You use trapdoors on the 2 sides, and then you use just a solid block on the other 2 sides, and that enables you then to have a water elevator that you can just walk straight in from the corner, and it works perfectly fine. As you see, we come up the tower here, you can see getting down there we've got the IDV Cubic. The Cubic and the Lender, they're named for D&D characters that I've got that I play D&D games with some of the guys from the server, and I've got 2 characters on those various games, and one's called Elendra and the other one's called Cubic, so we named them after that. Something else we also decided to do was to build another shop as well down, our first shop in the shopping centre. The Americans might call this a mall, in the shopping centre down underneath here. And that's because, as you may remember, we have a gunpowder farm, or creeper farm, that is doing incredibly well for itself. In fact, I went over there and pretty much the gunpowder chests were nearly full, and there's like 9 double chests full of gunpowder that was just filled up with it. So it's like, right, okay, well, as there is some competition coming in regards to the fungus, maybe we should sell the gunpowder for anyone who wants to get either make their own fireworks, or I know there's some people who do fireworks, or there's people who sell TNT, but no one really sells just the gunpowder. So we're doing it at a sort of price there, so almost to make it themselves, it makes it a bit more worthwhile. If they can go out and get the sand themselves, or they can get the paper themselves, then it should be a little bit more cost effective. Plus those who are selling TNT and the fireworks, if they need to buy gunpowder on bulk, then this should work out pretty cost effective for them as well. So yeah, this is just this nice little build here, and I love what we've done with the walls here. So this is one of the changes in 1.16 is that the walls are don't have that like little join in it, unless if they have got an air gap behind it. And that's why you might saw us build an air gap behind with the torches to obviously make sure nothing spawns behind there. But now these walls are like half a slab in size, sort of up on their side, which gives this wonderful sort of impression here. And you get that little gap as well, where we've got like the black and yellow running around the outside as well. I think it works out fantastically there. But I keep saying each week we're not going to do as much as we did the previous week, and then we go off and do loads. I've been Draken. This is the Draken GameWorks. Take it easy, all.